I'm ready to rock and roll. He's got his coffee over there. He's had his computer on his charger all week long doing research for Real Talk. The charger stays plugged in, charging that computer over there. And it absolutely does. This shows...
Are you giving me up in front of all these people?
No, I'm giving you props.
Oh,
I'm giving you props, my friend. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I feel better once I sip this cup of coffee. Did you say something about a pre-production meeting? You mean all about 13 seconds of it that I was late for?
But you got your coffee.
I got my coffee. I have my priorities straight.
The one thing I know about Smith is he loves his coffee.
I do. You know, it's a habit I got into when I was in the service and just never got out of it.
On the old text message chain today, with the good friend Neil Williamson, a pair of clippers was. Oh, maybe you should get them.
Thank you for the prop reminder.
Why don't we start the program? Keep it on a one shot, and we'll let Keith get rocking and roll it. Judah, for the sake of time, I'm ready to rock and roll. Good Friday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk with Keith Smith, my talented, timely, and well-researched friend who evidently has a pair of clippers on set. This is somewhat terrifying. Are they working?
I bet you people can hear it.
Why don't we do this? The show is presented by Yes Realty Partners. Yes Realty Partners. You can find them online, yesrealtypartners.com. Let's welcome Keith Smith to the program. I love this guy. He bought something else on Amazon. They don't sound that loud.
You know,
do they?
These are professional grade.
Oh, that's a great brand. That's the Wall brand.
These are professional grade.
I love that camera, Jude.
I reached out to my...
He's got you on the crystal ball camera. That's great.
Crystal ball camera.
Look at that. Those are the clippers that could potentially shave Keith Smith's mustache.
I spent... I
don't want to know if you've shaved anything else over there. Is that what he was going to say? I mean,
no, that's not what I was going to say.
I had to stop.
Little ears.
I know. That's why I stopped.
Little ears. Speaking of little ears, I had a great conversation with Katie Pearl yesterday.
Oh, love Katie Pearl. Katie, are you watching? Love Katie Pearl.
She had a couple of questions I was able to help her out with. But no, in my preparation of removal of my mustache, because I've lost this bet, it's just a matter of when I'm shaving it off.
Are you conceding?
Not officially.
Okay. You just know that.
I'm preparing for it.
That's your lose. Good.
And so I asked my sister, what should I buy? Who's a professional hairstylist.
Yeah, she's in the game.
She's in the game, and this is what she suggested about. So I got it, and it's ready to go. I'm ready to go.
So are you
more Real Talk props? Right?
I see that.
Right.
I see that.
We got
magic wands.
3
different types of crystal balls.
3 different types of crystal balls.
A magic 8 ball.
A Mr. Predicto.
Yeah. Some cocktail making books. Those are the only ones that are somewhat out of place. He's left 3 cocktail recipe books.
That's not out of place. Look over there.
That's true. We got a full bar. Very, very well said.
But anyway, a shout out to Neil. I'm ready to go.
Neil Williamson. The Clippers are on set, ready to rock and roll. Keith Smith is basically conceding here that he's going to lose the bet on upzoning be approved by, was it the 15th of June?
19th of June.
19th of June. So you're conceding.
I'm not conceding. I'm not conceding anything.
Wait, I mean, you bought clippers.
Who knows? I might start cutting my own hair.
Oh, okay.
Not. Okay. That's not going to happen.
Judah's laughing over here. Judah Whitcower is our esteemed director. We'll give him some props here on the program. It's become just a joke.
Well, I shouldn't be doing that live in front of my dear friend Judah, because he helps me out, because I consistently leave my laptop charger here
constantly,
and he
I'd say once a week you leave it here.
Almost every show, and he always covers me up. Hey, you left it up. Da 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 da.
I was here when he found it. He goes when he was getting the set back in order, and he goes, "Oh, Keith, Oh, Keith.
Did you really say that?
Yeah. He goes, oh, Keith.
Oh, Keith.
Yeah. And then he wrapped it up and he put it on the counter.
So I'm going to give myself up here.
Oh.
So I had to go do some doctor's appointments yesterday.
Okay.
And some blood work and all that fun stuff. But on the way home last night,
You A-okay?
it's the meds that I take. I gotta do this for the
Okay.
for the condition I've got.
Got him.
But anyway, so Judah, you and my wife should get together and have a conversation because on the way home, right? We took one car in. So we live in Fulvena County. So you got Food Line. Across from Food Line is the gas station. I'm driving. I'm looking at the car and I go, wow, I need a little bit of gas. And Yona goes, you know what? We need a little bit of food. So drop me off at Food Line. You get the gas. When you're done with the gas, come pick me up. Okay, honey, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Would you want to take a gander on what I did after I put gas in my truck? In the car?
What'd you do?
I went home.
You went home? You forgot Yona?
I forgot.
Oh.
I went home. I pulled up to the thing and I went, oh.
I guess that's better than like going to the bar or something. Patricia Irby, welcome to the program. You have a great forehand on the tennis courts, Patricia.
I left Yona in the thing. But in full disclosure, I got there. She walked out. I owned up. I owned it up. I said, honey, you won't believe
How long
this.
did you make Yona wait? You're better 7/8.
Oh, we're only, the Food Lion to our house is less than a half a mile.
Oh, okay. All right. So she didn't wait that long.
She didn't wait at all. By the time I got there, she walked out. The
Okay.
timing was perfect. I could have kept it quiet, but I didn't.
You owned up.
I owned up to it.
Look at that. That's why you should consider Keith Smith for your real estate closings. Because he owns up when he forgets his wife at the grocery store.
I do. But she said to me, she goes, you're such a damn airhead. So there you go. Smith the airhead.
Oh, man. Well, we love you around here.
Thank you.
Happens to the best of us.
It happens to the best of us,
That you
exactly.
did- That was your official response in the text.
Bill McChesney watching the program, he
Hey,
says,
Bill.
Keith, you can give Jerry a trim. He still needs one. Thank you, Bill.
Well, I have to tell you, that's
Love you, Bill.
Bill, you've got a point there because the set that came with has all these little clipper things.
How
you
about
put on.
Judah? Judah's got a thicker beard than me. Can we get Judah on a three-shot?
No. He's talking about the pompadour. He's talking
Oh,
about.
is he talking about? Well, told you I missed my haircut. I'm getting it next week, Bill.
he's
It is
talking
getting a little
about-
long.
he's talking about-
I think he's talking about the beard. Were you talking about the beard?
Yeah, we're supposed to talk about real estate, right?
Yeah, we could talk anything you want. Evidently, you're the executive producer.
That shows up like a minute after the show's supposed to start. I think it actually looks good on you.
Well, thank you.
But
appreciate
I'm not the one that matters, right?
Well, I mean, the beard, like anything in life, has a cycle of life.
Apparently, my mustache does
Yeah,
too.
your mustache is approaching the end of its life.
Yeah. 30, let me see, 30, how many years? 80, somebody do some quick math. 85 to now. How many years is that?
That's a long time.
I can't do that math in my head.
Let's just say it's a long time.
It's a long
Talking
time.
38 years.
38, yeah.
38 years with a mustache.
Almost-
and he's
almost
gonna
4
shave it
decades.
in a handful of months. All right, let's talk market here. How's the market looking for you?
Yeah, so I think it's the same of the watt to watt, right? We're bringing homes on the market, in the car footprint at a pretty steady pace compared to this time last year, and they're going off the same volume as last year. Again, I've just pulled it up today, going back seven days. 53 came on, 74 went off, right? So we were talking about this ratio last year and thinking it would get better at the beginning of this year, and it really hasn't. And it just seems like we have on day after day, show after show, the same conversation about inventory and all that stuff. But man. That's it's just doing that. And if you take and I said this earlier this week, if you take a deep dive into the pendings, what you're seeing though is a lot of the homes that were on the market for like double-digit days, 20,
Yeah.
30, some triple-digit days, 100 days, are now coming off the market. So these were homes that probably went on the market in October and November, that kind of thing, that are now being sold. So I'm really super interested on what the volume, what it's going to look like the end of this first quarter, but it's not getting better. Excuse me, when was it? A couple of days ago, we looked at a home for our daughter in Richmond. Nice neighborhood, nice.
What neighborhood are we talking?
So they want to be over by Tree Chop. They want to be up over by in that particular area of Richmond, Malvern. There's this. It's a kind of couple communities up over there by. It's a little bit close to Virginia Doctors Hospital, Henrico Doctors Hospital, if they could be there. But man, this was a house that needed a lot of work. It went under contract in 24 hours. Had 5 offers on it. You know, this seems to be the trend.
What's the price point we're talking?
Under 750 is what we're looking to stay under on that, preferably around the 5-something range, which is kind of hard to find. But, in that 750, 550 kind of range on that end of it, and it's just hard to find. The Richmond market's a little different, man.
Way more inventory.
Not really.
Really?
No.
Certainly a lot more housing stock.
There's more volume. Right, there's more ability to have more inventory for what it's worth. The market, the areas in Richmond change very quickly. Here, remember that rubber band, that pear-shaped rubber band that I was talking about? Over there's these little micro rubber bands, right? And if you're in one, that's great. If you're not in one, maybe not so great. And that's why we coined the term micro markets matter, because they do, and it's everywhere. But it's time for trusted advisors, man. Time for trusted advisors.
Do you see rates are dropping, guys? Scott Morris has predicted of Ross Mortgage that we're going to see 4s sometime this summer. That got a lot of folks excited. Keith Smith has cautioned those excited by dropping rates. You've cautioned, right?
Is that the right word?
Yeah. What'd you say?
It concerns me.
That's what I'm saying. Explain why.
Well, the fear or the caution or the concern that I have is that there's so many buyers in this buyer pool, will not increase that buyer pool again, right? So we reduce the buyer pool. I use this acronym or use this explanation all the time. The buyer pool was the 20-foot section of a 10-meter Olympic diving platform pool, right? It's 20 feet deep. It might be 15 feet deep right now. And the inventory is kind of the kiddie pool kind of side of the thing. And that kiddie pool may be going up a little bit. It's really not looking at the data week over week. So if that's staying the same and the pool and the buyer pool went from 20 foot to 15 foot, the ratio is just not there. The balance is just not there. If that interest rate drops up a little bit, maybe inventory might get a little bit better. Maybe people have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for interest rates to drop to put it on the market so they can buy, right? But that buyer pool is so huge right now. I think it's just going to make it worse.
Any inventory coming on the market that you know of?
Yeah, new construction. There's Colonial Circle in that I know intimately in Fluvanna County. A shout out to Greene County. I was talking to Matthew Woodson yesterday. I think long term, and that's 12, 36, 24 months. You're going to start seeing, I think, Greene County be the rock star in new construction coming on, depending on who you look at.
They have a lot of land.
Well, they have a lot of land, but they have a lot of lots in the process. Either completed the process, this rezoning or getting bringing lots to the market pipeline is rather long. Liza like that. So if there's a couple thousand lots out there, they'll be coming on. I'm in the middle of researching for the Real Talk with Keith Smith's market data, Nelson, and on the other side of the mountain for that. And actually, I was hoping to have Nelson ready for today, but as our viewers have pointed out, Nelson's a little difficult to break down. You really have to break like wintergreen down into multiple pieces. So I'm working on that. So what I mean by that is single family, detached, attached. They have a lot of condos there, which, you know, some jurisdictions don't have. Fluvanna, for instance, doesn't have any condos nor green on that end of it. So I'm working on breaking those things out. So keep an eye on the show and keep an eye on that website for that setup. And I'm also going to bring a couple of Nelson County experts in it. Wintergreen is its own animal, for lack of a better term, and I'm going to bring Gavin Sherwood on our team.
Yeah.
Who
He's an expert.
He's an expert in there to go ahead and do that.
I would love that show. We
for it.
encourage you guys to go to realtalkwithkeithsmith.com and click on the menu bar, the tab that offers market data. Judah Wighower's done a fantastic job of updating the reports that Keith shows during this show on the website, realtalkwithkeithsmith.com, and click market reports on the menu bar.
And this is an interactive process. Anything that you would want to see better or the way it would look better, it's kind of changed over the beginning of the month since we've started it, so that, any more data, like for instance, I added percentages in it now, which was a request of a couple of folks watching that percentages would be helpful. So I added them in, but anything that we can do to make it better, I'm in.
There we go.
Please let us know.
There we go. Also, click the Partners tab and look at the partners that make the program possible. The show, of course, presented by Yes Realty Partners. All right, so January, you have said, and your colleagues have concurred, that the spring market is here. We are in the spring market, and you have said, and you've reiterated that when is a good time to list your home? Right now is a good time to list your home because there's not much competition.
Yesterday was a good time.
Yesterday was a good time because there's not that much competition on the market, Keith.
Absolutely. So I'm actually just looking quickly at the last 27 days of this month in the car footprint on what came on the market and what went pending. So from January 1 to now, and just to put a little twist, just to put numbers to that, 146. Now this is all the jurisdictions. This is Fluvanna, Nelson, Greene, Louisa, Albemarle, and Charlottesville, and it includes everything: new construction, townhomes, condos, everything. But 146 residents or residential properties came on the market. 257 went pending. So that's just, if you are thinking about putting your house on the market, that number alone tells you it's the right time to do that. That being said, you need a trusted advisor, because if you're not in the right location, the right price, the right features, the right condition, that fifth one is timing may not work for you, right? So we need to determine location. That'll determine price, features, and condition, and then is this the right timing to put it on? But to make a long story short, now's the time to do it. I'll tell you, we're having conversations with folks that want to list, that we're having this conversation of, well, I want to wait. We talked about this on Wednesday with Scott Morris, with Ross Mortgage, that, hey, I want to wait until interest rates drop a little bit before I list. And we're, again, assuming they check all the first four rights, right? It's the right location, price, features, and condition. You may not want to wait because your competition may grow at that point. Your buyer pool isn't shrinking; it's probably going to grow. So if you're going to get in front of more eyeballs or more potential buyers now. That if we do this in May or June, or July or August, or when this interest rate kind of drops below 5, then people are going to start diving into the buying market, but also you're going to start seeing an uptick of people that may be sitting on the sidelines for listing coming in. So if we're in the right place now and you're ready to do this, listing is the right time to do it.
Comments coming in fast and furious. Patricia,
cool. I saw your
Patricia
fingers
Irby, the talented tennis player. She's very good. She says, I agree. The spring market has already arrived. Spring market's already arrived. Folks from Nest Realty, welcome to the show. Some folks over at Avenue, welcome to the program.
Hey. Please shoot out the realtors that are watching. Right, this is. We really don't have much of a show flow set for today. We really want the viewers and listeners to kind of.
Well, let's ask Patricia a question.
Yeah, so
she's watching right now.
I was going to flip it around. Does Patricia have a question for us or for me? That is there something I can do to help her?
What are you seeing with the market, Patricia? What are you seeing with your clients? What are you seeing with the market? Relay some perspective on air. Multiple people, Kevin Yancey and Nelson Lee, are both asking about investor properties with rates dropping and the weather warming. Will we see investors back in the game because they've been on the sidelines for a little while?
They've been on the sidelines for a little while, and I've actually had a couple of clients that want to be investors. They're not in the space yet. The reality of it is mostly you're dealing with cash, so you've got to have the cash reserves or seller financing or some other mechanism. On the traditional loan side, if you're not able to bring 20% cash to the table minimum, it's going to be almost impossible to get a traditional 30-year investment, 30-year AM investment loan. The other thing is the pricing too kind of impacts a little bit on that, right? Right, because I've actually had a conversation with Suzanne Reel, and
I talked to her this morning.
There you go.
Ally Property Management.
Property Management.
She manages, Ally Property Management manages his rental and one of mine. She's fantastic.
And I'm trying to sweet talk her to come back onto the show.
I think she would do it.
Oh, absolutely. So, where are we sitting with the rental market, right? Is rents stabilizing, or rents going up, or rents coming down, that kind of thing on that end of it. But to make a long story short, you've got to get the math to work, right? If you're buying for this and the rent is that, are you negative cash flow or are you positive cash flow? So as pricing is increasing, it makes it a little bit more difficult to do that if you're borrowing money, right? Cash, on the other hand, is a different story because sometimes it's a 1031 exchange, right? And this is not about an ROI on that piece of property so much as it is I don't want to pay taxes on it and I'm parking the cash here, which is a little complicated to explain. But the bottom line is I don't see that. And just to go to the news cycle, some of the big Wall Street folks are starting to get out of this. We know our friend Zillow's gotten out of it, the iBuy kind of thing. But some of these Wall Street firms that were buying single-family detached in blocks are starting to rethink that a little bit.
Patricia says, we asked her, she offered an update. Her buyers that she's working with right now are more serious, and they're trying to get ahead of the buying crowd, and they're actively attending open houses as we speak.
Well, that is so cool that she mentioned open houses because on our, and by the way, Patricia, you're a rock star.
Cheers.
So I just happened to do an analysis of, this was on Monday, the 7-day analysis we did. And I just want to laser focus on the open houses to Patricia's point. Roughly this week was actually last week's. Last year, that same week, there was only 3 open houses. This last week, there was 18. Looking at the current open house list, just to kind of give you an idea, there's right now, as of this moment, there's 34 open houses. So we talked.
That's a lot.
We talked about this a long time ago, right? Would open houses ever come back?
Yeah.
They're coming back.
Well, in the beginning of COVID, the prediction was that the open house would be completely forever eradicated.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Remember? Mm-hmm. Because many realtors on the show were saying that the open house was generally just an opportunity for the host of the open house to meet people and get the personal brand and a call to action message out. And it was less necessarily about the house itself.
I think that's different now. I think and Patricia, please chime in, right, on your experience. I'm finding with conversations with the mentality of the buyer now is kind of circled back to.
I want to see it and touch it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And an open house is a great way to do that. From an agent's perspective, it's also a great way to
meet people and get the brand out.
And grow your business.
Yeah.
And get your brand out.
Yeah.
But from a buyer's perspective, it's also a great tool for sellers too. All right, so if you're thinking about selling your house and there's an open house around the corner, you'll see that happen. If they'll walk in and take a look at it just to kind of get an eyeball on what's going on in your neighborhood. But right, that's on Monday. That was, hold on a second, I'll double check my numbers. On Monday, that was 18 open houses. Today it's 34.
That's a lot.
There's 34 open houses.
Grayson says, are folks being incentivized to attend the open houses, Keith? Maybe 60, 90 days ago, the gas cards were floating around to get people to come and win a raffle.
Yeah, I don't see any of that.
No?
To incentivize. I just don't. So that was a tool back in the dark days of 2008, 9, and 10, where you just couldn't get anybody to show up, give them a gas card. It was really geared more towards broker open houses, right, where you would have real estate agents come in and tour them. You would go ahead and have a raffle to give it away. The inventory is so low. I don't really think it's a matter of getting people in to do that. So that kind of implies that we're having a problem with buyers getting into the house. Again, it's a matter of the location, the price, the feature, and the condition. Assuming we're checking all those boxes as a thumbs up, you will get traffic. So that's probably not the case right now. I haven't seen it. Maybe others have on that end of it. It would have to really start swinging that pendulum off to a buyer's market from a seller's market for that to happen.
Would we expect, Kevin, I'm weaving yours back in the mix here, and thank you for the comment. Do we
Kevin,
expect...
by the way, thank you to everybody that chimes in. You make me better,
yeah,
for sure.
Make the show better.
Make
I love
the
it.
show better.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Will we see investors listing properties now that buyer demand is creeping back up?
So that's what I was trying to get to. Yes and maybe no yes.
Oh.
We will see it in our marketplace, but in a very minuscule growth, right? Most of the people that I know that's in the single-family detached or townhome in rental environment are in a buy and hold mode, right? Are you? I know I am. The one that we own, I make an assumption you are too, on that end of it.
For a while, absolutely.
And it's just because it's only going to appreciate in value and so forth and so on. The BlackRocks of the world, they were like in Phoenix where they bought like whole neighborhoods, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of houses. In those locations, I think they're going to have an impact on inventory. We don't have that here, right? We've never had that here. You would have, small to medium size investors that had groups of them, but none of these huge amounts.
Mikkel Anderson watching the program. Mikkel, thank you for your questions here. Keith, with interest rates dropping and as you've indicated, more folks interested in buying a house now that rates are lower, does he expect a selling frenzy like this time last year?
I think we're there already.
Wait, you think the selling frenzy is at the same momentum
No.
and clip as
so
last year?
I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at the pure. We have to define frenzy, right? Let me try to, right. But I'm just purely looking at numbers. The volume of units that are coming on and the volume of units that are going off in a week-over-week basis is comparable to last year. What's the difference? Why do we...
there's maybe what Mikkel is asking is no inspections, appraisal gap coverage.
Yeah, we're seeing some of that in transactions.
You're seeing no inspection transactions.
So realtors that are watching, ask them, what are they seeing in their transactions? I know ours, we're seeing, I'm working on closing one right now.
No inspection transactions.
No home inspection, yeah.
Appraisal gap?
No, I think appraisal gaps have kind of worked their way out.
Okay.
I think pricing, the sellers have kind of gotten to where the market's supposed to be.
So your pendulum is completely 100% swung onto seller's market.
I don't think we ever got out of it. Now, and that's where I wanted to take a look at what sold in the last 27 days in the car footprint, what the median DOMs were. So these were how many days on market before it went under contract and closed. It's 19, right? So there's 187 units. This is the whole footprint, right? And the whole product type. It's a huge circle around the area, and it goes everything from Louisa, Augusta, Fluvanna, Charlottesville. But just looking at that analysis for 27 days, we were 19 days on market. Median sales price was $402. Again, that's everything from condos to townhomes to single family detached. 19 days.
That's crazy.
Average was 45, so it kicks out the high and low, the median on that end of it, and kind of gets into the middle. But you're at 20, and even at the average, we're not even coming close to the 60-day. We're closer than 19, but we're not at the 60 days DOM. The word frenzy, I think that was more mass media pushed last year and whatever it was on that end of it. But purely looking at the data, and I want somebody to tell me I'm wrong, but looking at the data, this is feeling just like it was last year as far as coming in and going off.
Well, and you would think as rates drop that the momentum's only going to uptick.
That's the reason I said I'm a little concerned about
Well, that's why you alluded to it.
It may increase the inventory a little bit.
We hope.
Right. But look, the only way inventory really, and this is a shout out to my friend Neil Williamson, the only way inventory really is going to increase is the local jurisdictions are going to have to allow more building, right?
Take Charlottesville. McHale follows up and he says, inventory increase is going to be difficult with nothing left to develop in Charlottesville. Kevin asked a similar concept or question, where are the dirt parcels that someone could build new construction in Charlottesville? So multiple people asking about new construction.
The only path forward on that is the flum. Is losing my mustache.
Right. There is no areas in Charlottesville to develop.
I mean, I'm sure there's a few, but
it's significant.
It's not significant. If they are available, they're uber expensive, right? And the math doesn't work. The path forward is exactly why why I bought a pair of expensive clippers.
How much were those clippers?
Enough. And you know me.
You have champagne taste. You got the top of the line.
Beer budget, though.
You got champagne taste.
Well, Mrs. Smith keeps me on a beer budget.
Wall hair clippers for men. Good Lord!
No. Well, I got the whole kit, though.
I know.
I got the whole thing.
I bet you did.
It's that one, and then it comes with the little one that just does the little mustache.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah.
Very nicely done.
On that end of it. But in any event, you got Smith's ADD now kicked in. Thank you.
No, you were talking about the flum and upzoning. That's the only way we can get more density, more housing stock.
Yeah, and look, it's not going to be a huge amount, right? I don't think it's going to be.
You've emphasized this. I think you're right.
Yeah, I don't, but it's going to be something. It's going to be substantial, right? We're not, City of Charlottesville is not going to go from 50,000 residents to 150,000 residents.
Anytime soon, or ever.
Because of this. It may go from 50,000 to 55,000 or 50, somewhere in that range. I mean, I'm just guessing at this point. I have no statistical data to prove that, on that end of it, but it's just not going to increase it in that thing. But any incremental increase is going to help down the line. But Ned Galloway and I, if you can
tag
Ned, are doing these.
Come on the show, Ned. Maybe a special announcement.
He knows. Believe me, I got it. Believe
special
me.
Announcement, Ned. We love you, Ned.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to shut up before I get into trouble. But the road show Ned and I are doing for the Regional Housing Partnership, and just kind of tie it into this conversation. We're doing it for the purpose of, you can't have this conversation about housing in Charlottesville without having the conversation of housing in Greene or in Fluvanna or in Augusta or in Waynesboro.
Anywhere.
Right? Because we're so interconnected now.
Of course.
Because if Greene County's 2,000 lots that are platted, if they were to get built, let's say the next 12 months, they would have a larger impact on the housing stock in Charlottesville than the Charlottesville itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you should go down that road. That's a good topic.
Yeah, so I've always preached this. I've never done it on the show. Maybe I have. I just don't remember it. I've never preached this, but it's part of the reason why 3 or 4 years ago I raised my hand and asked if we could create this regional housing partnership, and it's built on bringing all the jurisdictions and the public and the private, all the folks in the housing space together under one roof to talk about how we can do this. Because housing, even though I talk about micro markets matter, right? That's helping individual buyers and sellers. But if we're going to increase the pool of available homes to buy, in my opinion, requires a regional approach to it. And I will tell you, in some jurisdictions do not like me saying that. They don't think that that's the right approach. And that's cool.
Yeah.
I think they're wrong, but that is not, because what happens, and I'll just use my home county, what happens in Fluvanna County impacts Charlottesville. What happens in Charlottesville impacts Fluvanna County. And why is that? I'm getting to get off on a tangent here. Why is Fluvanna County in the same AMI pool as Charlottesville?
Tell us.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, the jobs are in Charlottesville.
There you go.
They're going to Charlottesville for work.
There you go.
That's why they're all
So the
linked.
AMI, area medium income in Fluvanna County, now this is HUD's numbers, right? This
Yeah.
is the numbers that the federal government puts out on that. It's exactly the same as Charlottesville. The same as Albemarle County, same as Greene County, same as Nelson County. Louise is different because it's in a different statistical area that the feds use on it. Their number's a little bit lower than that. And why is that? Because 60%, huge percentage of Lake Monticello drives from Lake Monticello to work in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
And those dollars go from
They
Charlottesville.
should be in the same.
Yeah, I think if you take a dive into the census data for the county, you'll find it to be probably a different number. But the census data that the federal government, the HUD, uses for that, and that's important for loan products. And this is really a Scott Morris conversation. But for federally backed loan products, this makes all the difference in the world, this AMI. Also makes a difference with the land trust, right? Because we gear our 80% area median income based on that number. We have to federally do that on that end of it.
Why? This question's come in. I'm gonna mess your Anna Lynn, I believe, says, why does the land trust not get more support locally, Mr.
Man.
Smith?
Oh man, Annalyn?
Anna Lynn.
Anna
Yeah, I
Lynn?
think it's Anna Lynn. It looks like Anna Lynn.
First of all, love you.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
Well, why doesn't it?
Wow. I got to be careful.
I know.
Right. I've
You
got
do have to be careful.
I have.
I was hesitant to ask the question.
Yeah. So I got to be careful because I wear the hat as a chairperson.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
You don't have to answer this question.
No,
You
no,
can take
no,
the
no,
fifth.
no. I think this is a legitimate question to ask. The short answer is, I wish the hell I knew. Here's an example.
Because the land trust in Richmond, Maggie Walker,
Stop this. Stop
is a
it.
fixture.
You're reading my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. You know, I'm going to start on the positive side.
Okay.
Ned Galloway and I gave a presentation to the city council and the regional housing partnership. The structure of the presentation is we talk about it, what it does, what it's good. I run through some numbers similar to what we do on the show on that end of it. And then we ask questions, we answer questions from the local elected officials.
Okay.
That conversation at the second half went to land trust questions all the time, which I had to respectfully say, look, I'm here as the RHP vice chair. Ned's the chair. I'd love to come back to talk to you about the land trust at a different meeting, because we have other nonprofits part of the regional housing partnership. I felt it was unfair to talk about one, not
Sure.
talk about all of them on that end of it. The name of, we've been able to successfully do 24 permanently affordable houses in roughly 18 months under the land trust. So there's 24 teachers,
Nurses.
frontline workers that are in new construction homes with our partner with Stanley Martin Homes, we could not do it without them, without a doubt. Another fine sponsor of the show.
Love Stanley Martin.
Couldn't do it without them. They did the right thing and showed up. But they're living in Albemarle County instead of Buckingham or whatever. That being said, we have the ability to reduce that. You know what our one limiting factor is?
Money.
There you go.
Yeah, well, and land.
No, I got money. I can solve the land problem very easily.
Well, why does it have more momentum?
So it has momentum amongst the elected officials. Every jurisdiction knows about it now. I'm going to check that off as a really good thing.
Okay.
What we need is the money. Matter of fact, thank you for doing that. I was going to talk to you about after the show about help me do a GoFundMe account.
Huh.
Let's paint a picture. Maggie Walker is multiple years younger than the land trust.
That's the one in Richmond.
If I'm going down a rabbit hole, stop me.
No.
They started it, went out and reached out to corporate and local sponsors and raised $5 million cash.
Right.
They opened door one with $5 million cash. We got to beg, borrow, and steal for grants to go and do this. So let's paint this picture. We GoFundMe, right? And all of a sudden we raise $5 million cash. The good that we can do with that is off the chart.
Monumental.
So I can go into the land trust can go into Belmont and buy a $750,000 house. Turn around, keep the land, sell it at a reduced price for the 80% AMI buyer, and just keep on reproducing that. You take your $5 million, you shove it in an interest-bearing account, you call the Erpies up, and you say, do me a favor.
Nicholas Erpies watching.
There you go. Hey,
Hello, Nicholas.
Hello,
Love you,
Nicholas. Make me some money on my $5 million on that. It starts generating its own revenue. We start buying stuff, putting people in, and it just continues. And guess what?
I mean, I would think there
Guess why Maggie Walker is successful?
What's got the money?
They started
With $5 million.
with $5 million.
Why? Well, I mean, everyone's talking affordable housing. Everyone's talking about housing for nurses and teachers and frontline.
You know,
Is the talk cheap, or is it actually going to walk?
So I don't know if anybody's really ever asked. I know I haven't really went down and start bank, because I was frankly working on creating the systems that work, which we now have. I never really went around and knocking on doors and going, hey, so-and-so, would you mind donating $1 million to this, right? Where Maggie Walker's structure was a little bit different, they have these huge corporations in Richmond that just wrote huge checks.
Got it.
Right? I mean, just huge checks on it. And they have that type of capital to do that. To DuPont, for instance, they just wrote a huge check, right? Here, we've got lots of individuals, but we generally don't have these large DuPont-style corporations, which is really UVA, right? That'll write $1 million+ check. We don't have it. That's the big holdup.
Who is Tina Smith your mom?
That's mommy. Mom.
She sent me a friend request.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Oh man, I can't accept her friend request because I'm at the max capacity We gotta figure out how to accept Tina Smith's friend request.
Oh, you better accept mom's
we
request.
love you, Tina.
If you don't accept mom's request,
Love you, Tina Smith.
you're not going to be part of the family any longer.
Love you, Tina
And
Smith.
she talks about you all the time.
I
Drives me nuts.
feel like I know her.
It's really the first I show up. There's two things she asks me. My dearest buddy that I was in the Corps with, Ray Beal. How's Ray? It's not like, how you doing, Keith? How's Ray? And then the other thing, how's Jerry doing? How's the baby, actually? That's the
the
real
baby?
question she asks.
Our son is doing great. He is 2 months old today. 2 months has flown by.
The mother of five.
That's our youngest. Our oldest is almost 5.
My mother's oldest of five. Let's see if I get this right. Grandmother, I think of 13.
Tina has 13 grandkids.
I might have that math off a little bit.
You should
but
know that.
I should know that. But I know this.
How many grandkids do you have?
I know this
Okay.
number. She's the great grandmother of 3
There you go.
because they're mine. So that I got that. I
The
got
great
that
grandma
right.
of 3.
But I think it's 13 grandchildren that she has.
That's impressive. You have a beautiful and wonderful family, Tina and Pop.
There you go.
Patricia's got a follow-up for you.
Hey, Patricia.
Keith, what's happening in the Greenbrier neighborhood? I saw a post this morning about an area of higher density zoning. Any info you can share on that?
I saw that also. I have not really had a great opportunity to dig into it that much. Ned and some of the folks with Albemarle will be able to help us a little bit more with that. But there will be projects that come up that are trying to go ahead and do this, to increase the density. And there's 2 paths to this. That more is always, again, some people may disagree with this statement, but more, it's just economics 101. If we have more residents for people to live in, it is going to help the inventory, which is going to help the buyer pool, which is going to help us get to a balance, right? I'm not that smart, but that kind of makes sense to me on that end of it. But look, I know this much, and I have to dig into that project. I'm sure it's going to be resisted quite a bit. NIMBY is going to come out. It's going to take a long time to get done because there's a ton of red tape to get there. And the impact on that is probably not going to be felt, assuming it gets passed for I don't even know the project in detail, but I know those things are true, right? It's going to be opposed. It always is. It's going to have to go through an absorbent amount of red tape, which is going to cost a ton of money. And whenever it gets approved, coming to the market is going to be a long time off from today. That's why Greene County I'm watching real closely. It's gone through that funnel for like 2,000 units. So it's a matter of finishing the funnel and producing them. And I really think Greene County is going to have a larger impact on the housing stock than everybody thinks.
Greene County, larger impact on the market than the affordable housing or the more affordable housing, I should say, available in Augusta County? You'd say yes to that because of the proximity of Greene to Charlottesville.
Yeah,
It's closer.
I would say yes to that. It's funny. We've got a client that Yona and I are working with that, again, we can't find, and there was a huge reluctance to go to the other side of the mountain, and that's where we're going now, right? So we've kind of went through for the last couple to 3 months, not being able to find something. This is this $250 price point. Can't find anything. She has some very specific needs on it, which kind of precludes townhomes. So it has to be a single-family detached home. She needs a little bit of land for again, a very specific reason to her. So we're on the other side of the mountain this weekend looking because that's kind of where it's at. Not happy about it, right? She does not want to make that trip.
She consider renting?
Well, that's what she's doing now. It's funny, I didn't even think of this. You asked me the question, are investors selling their property? That's what's happening to her. They're selling her single-family detached home. It's not an investor scenario. Well, technically.
Can she buy that one?
No. It's a family thing, right? So they're technically not selling. I got to be careful. I can't give
Sure.
too much details on it. But it's not going to hit the regular market. Keith is selling it to Judah because Judah's family. That's what's happening with that transaction. But the bottom line, she needs to get out. And again, it's a life change thing. That's what usually affects people wanting to either sell or buy, is this life change stuff, not so much the interest rate.
This question's coming from the feed here. Spencer, thank you for watching the program. Does he see anywhere in Albemarle County springing with some more inventory? We'd like to stay in Albemarle. No?
I was trying
The
to
answer's
be.
no.
Yeah, there's some projects rolling, there's some projects coming in. These are things that are pretty transparent, anybody can find them. If the question is what's in the pipeline that might be coming down the line. I think the next big thing to watch on that is, and it was actually discussed at a public meeting for the Regional Housing Partnership, is either, I think on February 1st, is Neil watching by any chance?
Let me check it.
And somebody can check it on the Albemarle County agenda. I believe on February 1st, they are going to start in earnest discuss, or is going to be presented, the affordable housing incentives that I guess staff has put together on it. I don't really know the details of it, but I will be at that meeting because Ned and I are giving a presentation to Albemarle County on the Regional Housing Partnership, so I'll probably see Neil there, and I'm going to hang around and hopefully participate in that. So if the incentives shake out a certain way, which I don't really know, I don't think anybody really knows how that's going to shake out, it could incentivize development in Albemarle County, and it could uptick it a little bit. That being said, the timeline's going to be a little bit lengthy.
Do we have the political capital for more development in
Well,
Albemarle County?
yeah, so it really, look, 2 years ago, they adopted an affordable housing policy that they can't really enact because they haven't got the incentive program done yet, which hopefully will be now on February 1 or awfully close to it. So, if the right tools are put in place, that's the political capital is a tough question. That's going to be something we're going to ask when we start our political roundtables in February and March. To ask them. I'm talking pure mechanics of it. If they do that, it'll make the path a little easier, a little bit smoother through the process.
More questions for you here. This one's a
Am I
good
doing
one.
good today?
Yeah, doing well.
Do I need more coffee?
You're always doing well. Caroline says, I know you guys talked about this on your Wednesday show, but can Keith address the additional biotech institute that UVA is bringing and how he thinks it's going to impact this community? Well, it's going to impact it big time.
Man, I tell you what, yes, but I'm going to twist that around a little bit. I read an interesting article this morning.
And then I'll get to Neil next. Hello, Neil.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Love you, Neil Williamson.
So what's circulating out in the real estate world right now, in the the Reese Media, the Inmans, all the news feeds that I watch real estate related, they have an office here. Does the name CoStar mean anything to you?
Yeah, absolutely. CoStar's got an office in Dairy Market.
So CoStar, based on these articles, I was at Washington, started with, I think, a Post article or Times article, I can't remember which one. They're in negotiations to buy Realtor.com.
Okay.
So CoStar has been trying to get out of the commercial world into the real estate world to compete against Zillow. Kind of a little geeky thing out there, but it could really substantially change the.
So CoStar will offer some background. CoStar is an industry leader. CoStar is an analytics or a data or a news firm that specializes in commercial real estate information. CoStar's got an office in Central Dairy Market.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
CoStar is a powerhouse. They're a powerhouse.
And the reason I brought
in commercial real estate.
The reason I brought it up in relationship to the Paul Manning or the Manning Foundation's biotech thing, this morning I just, for the heck of it, went in Indeed and see, well, how many job openings are in CoStar? And there isn't a ton of them. So they are out CoStar. So we talk about data. We talk about CoStar. We talk about Woolen. Help me out.
Willow Tree.
Willow Tree. Thank you. We talk about. Thank you for being able to speak, Keith.
Yeah, I speak Keith.
All these.
Very proud of that.
There you go. Well, there's a lot of things in this world you should be proud of.
I'm very proud of you
That's not
being
one of them. All these little entities, which is only going to increase growing people in, bringing people in. Of course, my brain goes back to, I better pick up the phone and call CoStar. How about some money for the land trust? But anyway, we're just going to see this continuing influx of these high dollar jobs. If you've got an opportunity someday, go in and Indeed or whatever your preferred job search app is, and look at the salaries that they're offering over there. It's insane. Multiple six figures.
Comments coming fast and furious to the show. Bill McChesney,
I'm curious about Neil's comment.
All right, I'm going to get to Neil's here. He used my second favorite hashtag. What are your favorite hashtags that
Well, I know
Neil
it's got
uses?
something to do with a mustache.
Now, what are your favorite hashtags that Neil uses?
I didn't even know what the hell
here,
mustache is.
Hashtag content slinger.
Okay, yeah, that one.
Hashtag more housing everywhere for everyone.
There you go.
Hashtag seats available.
There you go.
That's my favorite one, seats available.
I thought the mustache one was the best one.
Mustache bet. We'll get to Neil's comment first. The mayor of McIntyre, the future land use map, medium intensity residential areas in the Greenbrier neighborhoods are around Charlottesville High School and Greenbrier Elementary. The areas around all of the schools in Charlottesville have some kind of upgraded density near them.
Yeah. So, so I apologize. There's two kind of Greenbriers, right? There's an Albemarle Greenbrier, and then there's a Charlottesville Greenbrier.
The Albemarle Greenbrier, home to Guadalajara.
Yeah. So I was thinking Albemarle. That the other person who noted may have been
The neighborhood in Charlottesville
got
City.
it. So
Neil.
it doesn't change my analysis, but thank you for clarifying.
Absolutely. Neil, expand the Albemarle development area. Staff has not fully engaged the development community regarding the proposed incentives.
So I am so glad he said that, not me, because not that I'm anything special,
You're special.
but I am part of a couple of bodies that focus on this,
Okay.
and I have not been not me, but the bodies themselves have not been, to my best of my knowledge, been invited to participate in that conversation. So the Regional Housing Partnership, that at best of my knowledge, and as either the chair or vice chair, I would probably know this, has, that doesn't mean I actually remember it, but that's a whole different conversation, has been invited to weigh in on it. Just think about that, right? This body, the way it's built on the four pillars, it has all the elected officials at the table from all the 6 jurisdictions. It has all the nonprofits in the space, in the housing space. It has, when I say all, not everyone, but most of them. Most of the private sector folks. We got builders, bankers, all that stuff. And oh, by the way, we've got the people who we serve part of this on it. You would think they would talk to them.
Seems like common sense.
I don't know. Unless Neil knows something I don't know, and it could have happened at the staff level that I'm not aware of, but I'm pretty sure, because Mr. Smith would have wiggled his way into a meeting if I knew about it.
I think you would have.
I would have assuredly wiggled my way into a meeting. So now that's the reason I want to hang around, because I'm super curious on what they came up with.
This question.
I wonder if Neil knows.
Are you not fearful that you will have a Starbucks on every corner if we continue with this path?
Well, I'm not a Starbucks fan, so
Bill said that.
I'm fearful of that.
We know Bill does not like the flum.
Yeah, no, and I love Bill to death, and that's great. But I think Starbucks would be classified, and Neil can chime in on directly to Bill. That's a commercial space, right?
Yeah.
So
Little different.
well, it is and it isn't, right? I think what Bill's kind of alluding to is like
I think it's more tongue in cheek, the sprawl and the density.
Yeah.
That's what he's alluding to.
Yeah, but so folks understand, what could happen is there could be a corner property that somebody buys 3 or 4 properties, combine everything and do a multi-story building, and then the bottom level is commercial, on the corner is Starbucks. I mean, that is feasible. That is possible with the way that it's structured, very much so. Will that happen or not? A different story.
John Blair watching on LinkedIn.
What I would prefer to see, Bill, is no more Starbucks, but local shops.
He always sticks to local.
Unless I'm in Seattle,
What are you going to do when the Pie Chest closes? Actually, Lone Light Coffee,
it's going to open up.
it's going to stay.
Yeah,
And it's going to stay in that
totally. Yeah,
location. So
totally.
you still got your coffee there.
Yeah, and plus
That's right around the studio, guys.
Yeah, and plus we buy our pies from the Pie Chest that we do for Thanksgiving every year, and they're going to still do that, so we're good to go.
What are you doing this weekend? Well, I guess you're working. You're going to the Valley.
I'm working. I've got some commercial contracts I got to write up. Got to help out a couple of folks, and I might watch a little bit of football on Sunday. You got a favorite this weekend?
No, I just want to see a good game.
Man, that's
Would love to see Cincinnati back in the final, back in the Super Bowl.
If I didn't say Kansas City, Emily would stop taking care of me.
Emily Funk?
She's from Kansas.
Okay.
She would stop taking
We love
care
you,
of me.
Emily
So
Funk.
I'm gonna say Kansas City. I want to see them go all the way. That being said, what you said is exactly what I always say. I just want to watch a good game.
Yeah.
There was a couple last weekend that was not competitive.
Neil says, Bill and Keith, for what it's worth, the planning goal of focusing populations around schools is an efficient delivery of government services.
Yeah, that was the Greenbriers, and when we say Greenbrier, we're talking about the school, but there was a Starbucks conversation, and so I think we had 2 different conversations.
Well, it was a figure of speech. I think
Got
he's
it.
just talking about the density here. And Neil says the reason the population is upticking or planned uptick around schools
Yeah,
is because
so-
that makes it easy for people to get to schools.
So,
and he evidently is a Dallas Cowboys fan. Neil, tell me you're not a Cowboys fan. What does this mean? You're having me not a hexagon, not a pentagon, not an octagon. It's a season gone. Neil Williams.
Is he talking about the Jets?
No, he's talking about the Cowboys.
Got it. So, first and foremost, think the world of Bill.
We love all the viewers and listeners.
love all the viewers and listeners. I love, and that's what's so great about what we do. Everybody brings their own opinion, and we debate it and we talk about it.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, I was reluctant to even talk about this, but I'm gonna anyway. Go figure. There is a very strong possibility my home, for the first time that I've been living in Fluvanna County, I will be paying. It may not happen, but if the stars align, if Albemarle County's budget process goes a certain way and Fluvanna's go a certain way, and tax rates and all this stuff, there is a very distinct possibility my home in Fluvanna County, I'll be paying the same dollar amount, the same cash, as if it was in Albemarle County. So just think about that. I've got a home that's on 2 acres, 30 some odd 100 square feet, right? If I was to pick that up and drop it into Albemarle County, as a rule of thumb, I was always about $100,000 under, right? Just as a rule of thumb. There's a distinct possibility my little old home in Fluvanna County I'm going to be paying the same amount of cash as if it was in Albemarle County. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So why is that? Why is that happening? And is that,
Well, Fluvanna County, its sole source basically of revenue to keep the jurisdiction afloat is real estate.
rooftops,
Yeah.
residential
It's
rooftops.
rooftops. I mean, it's not like you guys have a ton of businesses out there, ton of retail, ton of commercial.
Yeah, I may be wrong. It may not shake out that way, right? It may be close, but there's a strong possibility if it cycles right, that could possibly happen. And we don't have the same services that Albemarle County has, right? We don't, and I'm going to be
A lot
paying.
less schools.
We just don't.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be paying the same amount of money. And what I'm trying to work this in my maybe feeble way here is you know, what is the hashtag that more, was it
More housing everywhere for everyone.
Yeah, and that ultimately works, right? So look, Colonial Circle is 325 residential units. 125 are apartments, which I'm proud to say are going to be for 60% AMI and under, which is great news. Help get that approved for that on that end of it. It's going to be about 200 single-family homes. We've got about 80,000 square feet of commercial. I can't get anybody to look at it. And why is that? Not enough rooftops.
Yeah, there's not enough density there.
So I can't get a gas station in there. I got the traffic count, but there's not enough actually staying put on a regular basis for that to make. You know, you could put there's a site there that you could put a small Wawa in there, that kind of thing. They're not going to come there because there's just not enough bodies fixed on that end of it. So it's a chicken and egg kind of thing, because if you want to have that revenue from a Wawa or something like that, you kind of have to have the rooftops to support it.
Friend of the program and your friend, someone you've known for a long time, Supervisor Chris Fairchild.
Oh, hey, Chris.
Is very comfortable with the rooftops in Fluvanna County.
Oh, yeah. Is he watching?
Is very comfortable with the rooftops.
Yeah. And you know, and I, much like anybody else, I love him to death. I respect everything that he has to say. He got me, he was a little nervous when he was sitting on Santa's lap.
That was so funny, Chris. You were sitting on Santa's lap in
Yeah,
a
it was a little
onesie.
funny.
In a onesie. Kevin Yancey says...
Well, in a onesie, but nobody could see where his hands were.
He's comfortable with the rooftops there.
Yeah.
Yancey says 90% of Fluvanna County, Keith, doesn't even have the services that your neighborhood, Lake Monticello, has.
He's 100%
but we
right.
still pay the same taxes as Lake Monticello.
He's 100% right. 100% right. The only difference is I pay...
You pay an HOA.
I pay an HOA, which gets me a police department, by the way.
Yeah. You pay an HOA.
I pay an HOA, but he's spot on right. He's spot on right. It's now, it may not be globally. It may be just me, because I'm in a unique type of property in Lake Monticello, right? Because on that end of it, so
The acres.
yeah, so it may be me, but yeah, I just that whole sitting on my lap thing, on Santa's lap thing.
I'll never forget Supervisor Fairchild sitting in your lap in a onesie
Yeah,
in front of the camera and the microphone.
yeah.
That was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I love Chris Fairchild.
Yeah, and his hands were roaming. That's all I can tell you.
Stop. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Tavla tonight for dinner, you and Yona?
No. Mrs. Smith is not feeling well today.
Okay.
Kind of got this little chills, headache thing that apparently is floating around. So she is at home, and I am going to bring her a little ramen soup for dinner tonight. So she's working.
Ramen from where?
Great question.
Bad Luck Ramen Bar.
There you go. That's it.
X Park, right
That's
around
it.
the corner
That's
from Yes
it.
Realty Partners.
That's it.
We were just talking about the Bad Luck Ramen Bar the other day, Judah.
Yeah. So how do you like it?
We've never been. Have you been? I haven't been. Have you?
So that's just an
Not to the new place.
No.
Well, it's really not a new place. It's the same place.
Well, they
Right.
rebranded the restaurant. It's still in North American Sake.
and it's still the same menu.
Well, it's a different menu. Now they're focused on ramen, where previously they had
because we've
sushi
always
and poke.
Yeah.
no.
poke bowls.
I hate to disagree with you, fine sir. I always got my ramen from there.
Well, no, they had ramen before.
There's only like 2 or 3
They're
options.
focusing even more on ramen and not the other items. Am I right there, J-Dubs?
Well, I went
That's
to go
my
there
impression.
on Friday,
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
Friday. I couldn't get in.
Great.
Yeah,
Ramen's good.
you
You a
know.
ramen fan?
Robin?
You don't like ramen?
Oh, ramen.
Yeah. I like ramen.
Or as I say it, Roman.
Did you think I said Robin?
I heard Robin.
Oh.
Yeah, I do like ramen.
Yeah, Robin's good.
I usually get the cheap stuff, but
The ramen.
You
in
mean
a
the
pack?
college kid stuff?
yeah, the
Throw it
stuff
in
that
a
comes
thing.
in a little packet.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. Seattle is like the mecca of that kind of food, Thai food, ramen, and all that stuff. And we had ramen. We were out there, and I'll tell you, I actually like their ramen better than what I had out in Seattle.
Oh.
Just for what it's worth. So what are you doing this weekend, fine sir?
Spending time with the boys. Got Saturday. It's double sun duty on Saturday. I'm giving the missus a little break on Saturday morning.
Oh.
She's going to do a little sleeping in and a little breakfast, little coffee, little quality time to herself. Evidently, a 2-month-old and a nearly 5-year-old are a lot of work.
Well, you're going to find out.
Oh, I no doubt about it. I say it once, I'll say it again. The hardest job in America is that of a stay-at-home mom. Stay-at-home mom,
Well,
you guys are rock stars.
So as a side little job, we lease out grandparent duty. So if you ever want to give
What's
us
the fee?
for you, nothing.
Oh, you're so nice.
No,
You've
it'll
raised-
cost you in other ways, but
I have no doubt. Tina, you've raised such a gentleman over here, Tina. And you too, Pop.
well, it's funny, and that's not funny. You should be so blessed and lucky to get here. You will get to this point one day. But my 2-year-old granddaughter knows how to FaceTime.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she
She may not hold the FaceTime correctly where that her face is on screen all the time.
literally,
But they know how to FaceTime. They push that camera button. It's pretty impressive.
literally, it blew my mind. So we're getting ready at 6:30 in the morning, whatever it was, and I got a FaceTime call from my daughter, Yaz. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We got a problem. And all I see is a nostril.
Yeah. Sounds like our son.
And she's running around and the nostrils going all over the place and calling me Pop Dad. And she loves the dog, so where's Forrest? And I got to tell you, there's nothing better than feeling than that in the world. And everything else is secondary to that. That is really an awesome feeling.
I can't wait.
It is unbelievable.
I certainly love these two little boys with all I got over here. Keith, you are a stand-up guy.
Oh, stop
What's the plan for next week with your talk show?
Yeah. So we're going to talk after the show. We're going to do a little post-show production stuff.
Okay.
Trying to balance some stuff out. But what I'm working on is February and March, trying to turn out Friday shows into more local political roundtables. You know, I really want to start having this budget discussion with each jurisdiction, bring in Chris Fairchild, Tony O'Brien again, and say, okay, tell us what's going on in your county, and talk about budget, because these budgets are going to really be the ones that are going to drive what it's going to cost individuals, their tax rates on that stuff. So we're going to do that. I'm kind of lining up all the local jurisdictions on that, and Wednesday will be Scott, and Monday at the moment, I was going to try to talk about Nelson County and Wintergreen, but the two folks that I wanted to bring in have some scheduling conflicts, so maybe just you and I on Monday. But,
Love it.
But Monday I was planning to take a deep dive into Wintergreen and Nelson County, but I'd really need a couple experts for that, and I'm trying to organize that schedule.
You are a talented on-air broadcaster, my friend.
Oh, stop it. When is the 31st, by the way?
I sincerely mean that. The 31st is 4 days from now, right around the corner.
Let's see. It's the 31st. 31st is Tuesday, right?
That sounds right.
Yeah, so on the 1st, we might have a little bit of an announcement to make.
Ooh, what's the announcement?
I can't. I've signed an NDA. I can't do it.
Oh,
but
I'm excited for
But yours truly
the big announcement.
may have won another award,
Ooh,
which I can't announce.
until the 1st of February.
Well, until the 31st.
Until the 31st.
And looking at the calendar, it looks like a Tuesday to
So
me.
Wednesday's a big announcement on Real Talk with Keith Smith.
Could be.
Go. All the shows are archived online at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. We encourage you to visit the website.
And
check
no,
out the
Neil, I'm not
shows.
getting committed.
The Market Watch tab or the Market Reports tab on Real Talk with Keith Smith is a great resource for data in the area. Judah Wickower keeps us on air. Yes Realty Partners presents the show. And please click the Partners tab on the website, and you see the supply chain of trusted advisors in real estate. The I Love Seville show is up in about 59 minutes.
If you like what you hear or see, those are the ones that really keep us on air. So please
support the partners.
Please support them.
There you go. Keith Smith, Judah Wickower, Jerry Miller. I Love Seville show, 58 minutes. Take care, everyone. Bravo, Senor Smith. Bravo.
And